Our budget is conducted in the light of day. We do our business openly in public meetings with intense scrutiny from not only the public, but the state of Ohio's auditor. Our budgets have always passed inspection. Our records are available to everyone, and the state auditor has consistently awarded our Treasury Department and our treasurer, Mike Sobel, with the highest level of recognition for the accuracy of the state audits and our financial reports. You may have heard some discussion recently from several of the opponents of this levy. The Granville's spending per pupil has increased 36% over the last 5 years. There's truth to that, and there's also a good reason for that. If you look at where we've controlled things that we can manage, our staff salaries have risen only 2.37% annually over the last 10 years. Granville teachers are paid more than most teachers in Licking County, but they're paid less, considerably less, than their compatriots in Franklin County. They're paid less than the average of the teacher salary for the other high-achieving districts across the state. We pay a fair wage. We don't pay an exorbitant wage, and our teachers work extraordinarily hard for what they receive in return. Our discretionary spending on things that we might want to add to the schools has actually decreased over 9% over the last 10 years. So we're doing our best to manage those costs which we can manage and try and mitigate or offset some of the costs, the runaway costs that we don't control. Because our three largest areas where cost control has been most challenging have been in healthcare costs, which have risen 79% over the last 10 years, and in unfunded mandates by the state and federal government. Services we're required to provide without adequate funding from the state or federal government. Those have risen 105% over the last 10 years. We've spent money, significant amount of money in the last several years, reinvesting in our school facilities. We do so because we believe it is far better to spend a limited amount of money now to maintain and extend the life of those facilities than it would be to have to replace or build new buildings and new facilities at a much greater cost. We've installed an energy retrofit program at the high school and middle school that will generate 15 to 20% annual savings in energy. We've replaced boilers, we've replaced chillers, we've replaced a roof where necessary, significant flooding issue at the bus garage. All of those things are the result of having aging facilities, and our buildings are older, on average 35 to 40 years old. So we spend money on those because we want to extend the life of those buildings. The other area where we've spent money is on changing the rise in insurance costs. Our insurance costs have risen 79% over the last 10 years. We recently converted to a private sector-like health savings account with the collaboration of the staff and the agreement of the staff. We think that will save us several $1,000,000 perhaps over the next number of years, but it required some upfront funding on our behalf into health savings accounts for the staff. That inflated our per pupil expenditures over the last couple of years. We've also made investments in technology, which we think will benefit all of our students. As you know, we went to Chromebooks for our students. That was a significant upfront investment. However, we were able to offset some of that investment with the savings in textbooks. Those are things that my colleagues and I on the board and the administrative team are always looking at. We recognize our obligation to do, as the superintendent said, what's best for kids, because that's, after all, what we're in the business of, is taking care of and educating kids in our community. Yet at the same time, we're always cognizant and acutely aware of our obligation to the community to maintain fiscal responsibility, transparency, and accountability. We do that every day. We conduct all of our business out in the open, and every one of our financial documents and spending plans is available on our website or to anybody who would want them. If a new levy isn't passed within this academic year, it would require us to cut approximately $1 million from the budget for the 2019 and 2020 school year. That could equate to 15 to 20, perhaps more than 20 academic or staff positions in the schools. We could also look at significant programs. For example, and by way of context, we spend about $1 million a year on the arts, drama, choir, band. We also spend significant amounts of money on athletics and other extracurriculars. We spend significant amounts of money on global scholars. We spend significant amounts of money on foreign language in the elementary school. We don't bounce back from things like that, and it would take years to recover from that. Granville has always been known for the strength and quality of its education system. Frankly, it's the reason people move here. We have a lovely community, but there are lots of lovely communities in Central Ohio. There aren't any that have schools as good as Granville has it. In the most recent rankings, our schools were ranked 6th in the state of Ohio. We've consistently achieved outstanding results at a lower cost per pupil than comparable schools, both on a statewide basis and on a Central Ohio basis. We are preparing kids for the challenges, both economically, socially, and academically, that they'll face in this world. We have to make them able to better compete for jobs, for opportunities, and to make a better life. And we do that through a rigorous academic and enrichment program in the Granville Schools. I don't want to lose that as a parent of a child in Granville Schools. I know that folks who live in this community who've already had kids who've graduated also don't want to lose that.